when it makes no sense. This woman is an encouragement to all. Because in life, people make a whole ton of excuses. And to be quite frank, I'm tired of hearing people's excuses. I see constantly young, working, young, able-bodied, young men, much younger than I am, who simply lie about on the corners, hang out at the 7-Eleven, staying at the subway station, haggle for not spare change anymore, spare dollars at the gas station, making excuses when there are jobs. And I don't care what people say about the economy, I'm going to tell the truth this morning. There are jobs out there. The problem is it may not make sense to you. Well, I ain't working at McDonald's. I'm not going to work at a retail store. I wouldn't dare work at CVS. I wouldn't dare work at Pizza Hut. Doesn't make sense to me to do that. Excuses after excuses after excuses. And then the biggest excuse. And I'm sorry to go here, but I just got to tell it. And I've said this before. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up to me as to why our young women, when they have one itty bitty little child, all of a sudden have to stay home and get public assistance because it appears to me, and somebody explained it to me otherwise, having a child now deems you unable to hold down a job. Something wrong with that. And I think it's creating a problem that's going to continue to decimate the ranks of our people. People grow up now looking for this entitlement. I'm not talking about an instance where a person has a legitimate need, but I'm talking about a case where, and we've all seen them, the little young 20-year-old, she got the designer bag on her arm. She live in your neighborhood too. She got one child, but she don't work. She got a man living there with her. He don't work. And they're enjoying life off your and my dime. It don't make sense. It ain't adding up. When I look at this woman who had no husband, who was obviously poor, and we're going to deal with that in a minute, but she didn't make any excuses about what she had to offer. She didn't make any excuses about her circumstances. She went and did what she had to do. This woman, first of all, went as far as she could with what she had. Now, maybe her circumstances in life were to the point that she couldn't go any further. And I believe in her day and time, she could go no further than she went. But she took what she had, and she went as far as she could go with it. She had some limitations as to where she could go in the temple. She went as far as she could with what she had. And when it doesn't make sense to us, when it doesn't add up to us, when we think we're limited, let's go as far as we can with what we have. Everybody here is different. Some folk have college degrees, some folk don't make a difference. If you don't have a college degree, it ain't a big deal. Go as far as you can with what you have. And you can go far with it. Go as far as you can with what you have. Now this woman could have put some self-imposed limitations about herself. And she could have played the excuse game and the crying game. Look at her conditions. If there was ever anyone who should have given up on life, should have been her. try to deal with this wall. Because I'm just limited. I don't have the abilities. Oh, someone else, they can go over this wall. And someone else, they can get around this wall. And someone else, they can get through the wall. No, not me. This woman did not allow her conditions to constrain her. She went as far as she could go. Even in the temple, she went as far as she could go. She took what she had, those 2 coins, and she went as far as she could with them. Now, she only had 2 coins. But you know what? That means something to me as well. She had some. And all of us